And of course, in the book, you give people the answer on what to do to support your mitochondria and make them function better, so your adrenals are going to work better. So your story, I loved it because I really identified. I think there are millions of women, especially right now. My youngest son and his wife are 31, so that all their friends are having babies right now, and they're having awful time in the beginning. The first month or two, they don't realize how difficult that first couple of months are. And so I really felt that this book was great for people that are going to have a baby, with pregnant women, women that are starting to, soon deliver a baby or prepare for one. Let's just talk a little bit of, say a few things for those women and your own personal story of what happened when you had your baby.
Sure. So I guess over a decade ago, I had Hashimoto's and I had a lot of symptoms, and I figured out how to take charge of my health and get myself in remission from Hashimoto's. One of the big connecting pieces in people with thyroid issues is that they have some degree of adrenal dysfunction, and surely I was no exception to that. And I found that my fatigue and brain fog, anxiety, unrefreshing sleep, these things didn't go away even with my nutritional changes, but they got so much better when I focused on my adrenals. Um, when I had my beautiful son, he just turned 5 last month. Can you believe it? I knew that babies like didn't sleep, but I don't know, it just didn't dawn on me that they could not sleep for a very long time. And I thought, I read some books and they said that every child was capable of sleeping through the night by like 3 months old. Well, that isn't exactly the full truth of the matter, right? Some babies have smaller tummies or digestive issues or various other things. There's a whole body of research about babies and sleep where it's not a one size fits all approach. The unfortunate thing about sleep deprivation is that it's one of the fastest ways to get into adrenal dysfunction. And so when my son was around 8 months old, and we had been going on, 8 months old of me not sleeping because of nighttime caregiving, which I was happy to do and I wanted to do. At the same time, it just really started draining my energy, and I felt like, oh man, some of these symptoms that I used to have are just creeping back up, like when I was so fatigued in my 20s. And so I tested my adrenals, and I was like, oh wow, they are flatlined. I have this low level of cortisol production throughout the day. But then I was like, oh crap, like I can't use any of my old protocols, right? So I'm like,
Like
there's like
people
protocols.
normally would drink caffeine to get more energy, but you can't really do that with a baby when you're nursing a baby.
Well, or they use hormones, right? So people would use hormones to, like the protocols that I've been trained in are using like pregnenolone and DHEA or hydrocortisone throughout the day or getting lots of sleep. And there's all of these like modalities that can work well for the people that they work for, and then they're not necessarily attainable to people like new parents, right? Or people that may not be able to tolerate some of the hormones, which, women with a family history of breast cancer, women with estrogen dominance, people who are just sensitive to different supplements. So, I was in that like weird place where I'm like, okay, if this was one of my clients with, without like a brand newborn, this is what I would do. And then I was like, but I don't know what else I can do. And so I really had to go into just, I guess, research mode again and figure out like what are other ways that I could give my body energy. Like obviously I can't sleep for 12 hours a night for the next 30 days, which is a fantastic way to get out of adrenal dysfunction, is just like take a sleep vacation. I couldn't go to the Maldives for like 3 months and leave everything behind me, which some celebrities do for burnout. And then the
Or
hormones.
hire a full-time nanny. Most people can't afford to do that, so that you
Um,
can sleep and she can take care of you too. And actually, in countries, I've always admired this. In countries like Japan, the mother and the mother-in-law come in for the first month and they completely take care of the mother. They won't let her get out and do anything. Basically, the neighbors all bring food, and if she did get up and start trying to do something, there she would be frowned upon, because the culture really has a high priority to pregnant women, new mothers and so too. But our American culture, our Western culture is unfortunately not like that. So our mothers are also, and of course, I belong to an older generation, so I remember when times were much slower. But I also remember with the baby boomers, we were the generation where we decided we need to get a higher education, and we need to go out and work and raise our families. I think we kind of spoiled our daughters, because when they came along a generation later, they only saw busy women, and we've no longer honored that real need to be still and take care of your baby and focus on your health. So you're really talking about something that millions of women have gone through or are going through.